Good morning, everybody. It's good to be with you again, and I have some news which will bring you up to date. So today's video is more a bit of an update on the COVID-19 restrictions and what we as a church are doing about that, rather than an encouraging message, which I'll be encouraging as I do it anyway. How's that? Anyway, the COVID-19 response group, which is comprised of members of and elders of leaders of both churches, Roxy and Wallen, met again last night just to interpret helpfully, without finding loopholes in the current laws, interpret helpfully for our church how we need to navigate these easing of restrictions so that we don't bring people into risk, and so that we are not exploiting loopholes in the law, but keeping within the spirit of all of that. So we made the decision last night that for the time being, the rest of the month of June, we're going to continue meeting in connect groups via Zoom. We feel that to try and juggle smaller groups and larger groups and what have you would be too difficult. So we're going to stick with the Zooming for just 4 more weeks, or month of June, then review that for the start of the new term in term 3. Hopefully we'll know by then some of the other restrictions that are easing, and it gives us more information to pass on to you. So that's what's happening for connect groups. With Little Blossoms, they're still in recess and will be until further notice because of obviously the social distancing requirements. Youth and Homework Club will still be conducted online via Zoom and other video means as well until further notice. And we're hopeful we might be able to bring some changes to those things as we get more information from the government. But for now, Homework Club and Youth will continue online. Pastoral appointments. Those needing pastoral appointments in the office with Tony or I or any of the other elders or ministry staff, please feel free to continue to book in for those. With restrictions easing and space requirements, we'll be able to do that one-on-one counselling and pastoral caring times. Food bank will continue as is, although beef up a little bit more because we've got a bit more of an easing of restrictions. We can have more of our volunteers helping out whilst we're observing those distancing rules. Worship, well, that's the big one. We will not be coming back to worship until all the church can meet. So there are rumours around that they might allow churches to gather again for public worship if it's nobody over the age of 50 and all this sort of stuff. We're not going to do that. When we go back to worship, we're all going to come back together and worship the Lord. So be patient. We'll know a little bit more about that probably in 4 weeks' time. For the meantime, we're going to continue our live streaming of worship services of a Sunday. Other restrictions, which are fairly normal, you'll all know about in terms of your own private lives and so forth. We do ask that you be very careful as you go about those pursuits. The important thing for us is that we're easing carefully back into a new way of doing things. And you'll notice when you visit our buildings and offices and so forth that we're going to have set up hand sanitisation stations and so forth with basic instructions on there, similar to what you've been seeing in shops and so forth over the last 4 or 5 weeks, so that people have got every opportunity to be safe and feel safe when they come into our buildings. So that's the latest on what we're doing about easing carefully back into a routine for our church and for our connect groups and our other ministries and so forth. So we're asking you to be patient. If you've got any concerns at all about any of these decisions that have been made in good faith and for your care, feel free to call me at any time. I'd be more than happy to chat with you. We realise that some people might perceive that there are exceptions to some of these things that we've set in motion, and today with this video, we understand that. We just can't think of every possible scenario. So I'm more than happy to speak with you about those things if you feel that there are valid reasons for exceptions to be made. But generally speaking, we're asking people to just get on board with us. In the meantime, stay positive. This pandemic crisis is beginning to ease. We're in a better and better position. We've learnt a lot of new skills along the way, particularly our worship and tech teams have just done a brilliant job, as I'm sure you'll all agree. We've discovered a whole bunch of new skills which we're going to continue to take with us into the new season. In the meantime, continue to pray for me, pray for our other pastors, Pastor Tony and Pastor Faith and Pastor Joel out there in Doreen planting a new church, and our eldership groups, because we need you. We need your prayer support. There's been a lot of warfare going on. We have felt it. Some big decisions that are before both our churches in terms of financing and properties and so forth, which I can't tell you about right now. It's very frustrating, but we will soon be able to speak about those things. Some very encouraging things for both our churches. So stay tuned. I may do another video early in the new week to explain some of those things. In the meantime, hang in there. Keep praying for each other. Keep being courageous in the face of all of this. Keep contacting each other, and keep close to the Lord. May God bless you.